Now, it's happened, and it's happening for the 5th time on Sunday night. The final episode of the 5th season of LoveHate, and Tom Vaughan-Lawlor has joined us to talk about that and other things. Good morning, Tom.
Morning.
You're at the coalface there. To me, watching it, most intense of all 5 seasons. This one,
yeah, it was very intense to film actually. So it's kind of playing out on the screen too. It was because we filmed a week in Spain as well at the end. It was things were kind of truncated, so it was it was non-stop. It's been pretty intense.
Yeah, like it's I was thinking, I'm actually really thinking about watching it at a different time, because it's Sunday night.
Yeah.
You're facing into a new week. You know, you're an actor, so you don't do the week 9-5 thing. But for us who do the 9-5 thing,
I know, yeah,
and then you have to stay up a little bit later on Sunday night, and you're all tense going to bed.
I know, yeah. I think it's funny because it's such a huge part of the consciousness at the moment, and it's a bit like it's in the ether. You can feel the energy kind of almost coming off the TV, so it's very intense. I haven't seen this season. I usually watch every season before they go to air, but for this year I was doing a play and I was very busy. I just didn't get around to seeing it this year, so I literally haven't seen.
Oh, have you not?
I haven't seen anything. I've seen bits and pieces from stuff we did in ADR, stuff we'd done after shooting, but I haven't seen this episode.
Additional dialogue recording.
That's the one.
Ooh, look at me!
It's very
look
good.
At me,
Yeah, it's very tricky. It's bloody tricky.
So that's where you go in, and for some reason they can't hear what you've said in the original scene.
Yeah, or you fluffed a line, or there's some issue with sound. It doesn't happen that often, but you've got to do little bits and pieces, little tweaking. So it's not too bad.
So they show you the footage, and then you have to try and lip sync yourself.
Lip sync a few, here and there.
Stuff, isn't it?
There's not much of it, but sometimes you got to do.
And then I suppose that you said it there, that there was a week of filming in Spain.
That's right.
So that's completely out of. I know you would shoot it out of sequence.
Yeah.
That was completely out of sequence then.
Yeah, it was. Me and Lawrence were joking that we wouldn't be able to do the accents in Spain because we're in a different country. So it was. It was kind of bizarre taking the show outside of Dublin, really, and but really exciting. And we kind of had a skeleton crew, so it was a real kind of on the fly. Even when it's very on the fly here in Dublin, but there was a special.
Yeah.
So, but we had a brilliant time, and we got a lot shot, and it's come out really well. And there's some more stuff in Spain coming up this. So.
And there are pictures in the papers today of you with Terence Big Balls.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Podge, brilliant.
He's a scary enough.
Yeah, he's a tough cookie. But it's that thing. He's there. That's where Nige wants to be. He wants to be at the top table.
Yeah.
And if that's where he's going to be, he's got to deal with these guys. His ambition is to be one of these guys, and have the villa in Spain and have that lifestyle. So that's his goal.
We got a text earlier on about you and saying you're definitely one of the best, if not the best, Irish actor at the moment. You're in Howie the Rookie. You're back, and it's back in the Olympia from the 11th to the 14th. And I just watched a bit online this morning. It's phenomenal. So it's just you and your own, playing 2 characters. One character in the first half, and the second in the second. Hooky in the first half, and the Rookie in the second. Howie, in the first half, and the Rookie in the second half.
That's right.
So how long is it then in total that you're?
It's the first act is 40 minutes, and the second act is 45. So it's about an hour and
25 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. It's pretty daunting.
And you and that's you just.
Yeah, me running around, throwing myself around the place. It's we did it at the project for, I don't know, it's like 250 people, 300 people, and we did it on tour in Cork and Galway. But this is by far the biggest theatre we'll have done it in, so it's pretty daunting. We were in the theatre last week and I was going, oh dear. So I went to see Ballyturk there a few months ago with Cillian Murphy, and I was, wow, this is a big place. So it's a challenge.
It's just you, and I just can't imagine how you learn the lines for that.
Yeah, it's funny. I learned that I had to learn that it was last year when we were doing LoveHate. We filmed LoveHate February for 3 months, and then I started rehearsing. We finished filming on the Friday and started rehearsing on the Monday, so I had to learn the text before we started filming LoveHate. So it took about 3 months to learn of blocking yourself away and kind of banging it.
How do you do it?
Repetition. Well, I think that's it, really, repetition. And it's brilliantly written, so it flows into your head, but it's repetition, really.
And you don't record yourself and listen back to yourself?
I don't. Some people do that, but I find that confusing, because then you start to listen to your own voice and certain tune patterns, and you start to get it. But my wife was brilliant. She kind of helps me, and but as I said before, she's got a received an RP English accent, very cut class English accent. So it's very funny to hear her doing LoveHate lines or helping me with Heavy the Rookie lines. So yeah, she's brilliant.
Yeah, we were just now. Nobody knows what's going to happen on Sunday night. Everyone's imagining that there's going to be a death, a big high-profile death.
Yeah.
Will it be Nidge?
Yeah.
Will it be Fran? Will it be Siobhan? Will it be Terence Big Balls? Nobody knows. So we got thinking about that, and we thought, well, if it is Nidge, right? If it is happens to be Nidge, that maybe if you combine LoveHate with XFactor, and Nidge is leaving, and I as Dermot O'Leary come over to Nidge and I put my arm around him and I go, let's have a look at your best bits,
right.
Nidge, and it would sound something like this.
I honestly don't know. I spent all my time clearing up a mess I didn't make.
What did you go and do that for?
Well, he wasn't walking out of here on his own, was he?
I could have dumped him on the road. They think it was a hit and run.
I was just putting him out of his misery, Nidge.
I don't know why you can't be civil to me. It's your child, your son and your mother I'm talking about here.
Tommy's been arrested. Some bullshit. I'm trying to figure it out. So was there anything else?
I don't want you to get offended. I have this sort of itch. Now, I had a look in the shower, and it could be nothing, friction burn or something, but I was only asking in case you don't do anything to get it checked out.
King Nidge.
I like the sound of that, I have to say. I don't give a shit about anyone, man. I don't give a shit. Except for Warren. The rest, I don't care.
Darren, what's the story, brother?
What's the story? I'll tell you what the story is, Nidge. You just tried to have me clipped there and you missed.
You say another word about it to anyone, you fat bitch. I'll personally spray paint your fat face with acid, do you hear me?
Can you not talk to me, Tommy?
Ew.
Pardon?
Karen, can we not talk about it after? I'm losing my rhythm here.
I'll talk to mine.
Thanks, Nidge.
You're visibly squirming there.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's a bizarre thing listening to yourself being aggressive, especially aggressive towards women. It's very strange. I've got 3 sisters and my wife, and it's a very strange thing to be.
Are they the most difficult scenes?
I found them the most difficult. All the other stuff. But I think specifically to women, I find it hard, or whatever. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, because I suppose you could, and I have no idea, but you could say the other stuff is sort of cops and robbers. Like you play it as a kid,
Right,
but
yeah.
that when you start being violent towards women, that's
it's tough to film.
Yeah, and because Fran is like, whoa, Peter Coonan playing, both of you are just, amazing, and these are the conversations that people are having all over the country, Tom. Given a choice, who would you prefer to get on the bad side of? Would it be Nidge or Fran?
Well, you see, Fran's physically very tough, and he's got a temper, all right. But I think Nidge is less. He's not as tough physically, but he's cleverer. I think he's.
Yeah, and because of that, this is what I was saying, that you could probably maybe reason with Nidge. Maybe,
I suppose.
Maybe.
Well, I think he's aware of the long game and the bigger picture, so he'll know what he wants, what he can get, how he can use someone, rather than just beating them to death. But Fran just goes in there full blooded and just doesn't think.
We're talking to Tom Vaughan-Lawor about LoveHate and other things, and we talk to him a little bit more after this. It is, and it's been said before, and it's the first time we've met, so it's become very obvious to me that you, Tom Vaughan-Lawor, and Nidge are worlds apart. You're this well-spoken, thoughtful, urbane sort of person, and Nidge is everything but that. So it must, when people talk to you and meet you, it must mess with their heads a bit, does it?
Sometimes. I think sometimes you get slightly odd looks, or it's double takes. But for the most part, people are very kind of it. I've had it myself, seeing actors who you assume are one thing, and then you hear them or you meet them and they're completely different, and it is quite a jarring. It is a very kind of bizarre dynamic, because you're seeing these people in your homes, and you're going, wow, they're this person, and very definitely then you meet them in another context, and it's quite a. And
did you realise early on that you were involved in something special?
I remember auditioning for it and running lines with my sister, and her being kind of going, what is this? And I was explaining to her, and she was like, wow, it sounds amazing. And very quickly, from reading the scripts and then from meeting David Caffrey, the director, I knew it was something that if RTE had the kind of, we're going to go with it, that it would be something that would have a huge impact, and then it didn't explode until season 2. That's when it started to really take off.
I met a member of An Garda Síochána who's high up, and he did a lot of work in Limerick,
right?
And we were just talking about LoveHate. The conversation comes around LoveHate, but he was saying the detail, and his main thing about it was because he's been working with gangs, and he said that they've got it so right that there's no loyalty, and it's just if you rat on me or whatever, your history. That's it. Yeah.
Well, Stuart is ferocious in terms of getting detail right, and in terms of his research, he's so kind of intense about it. And I would be too, but to the point where he'd be going, no, you got this is right, or that's right, and you even just tiny little details, and it's amazing that you are bolstered in your work by someone who's done so much groundwork in terms of the world you're playing in. But it's that the reality of that world is ferocious, and it's very intense.
So what's next for you now?
Well, at the moment, I'm Howie the Rookieing next week, and then we go to London for 2 weeks, and then we go to New York for a week with it. That takes me up to Christmas.
And do you think in your quiet moments, I'm going to go to New York, and there's going to be some agent or some film producer in the audience, he's going to see me, and then
I think you learn quite quickly in this business that a lot of that stuff is fate or luck or chance or whatever, and I think possibly, but you don't. You kind of have to put that out of your mind and just focus on the job in hand and doing the best with what you do.
Because if you home in on that and you think that there is somebody in the audience, or you get a whiff of that it
exactly, and also
get too nervous.
Exactly, it's just the sense of control. Being an actor and having control is quite a tricky thing. I think you've got to get to a very particular level in your career to have that control. So at the moment, I'm just focused on LoveHate and the show. So beyond that, that's kind of down the road. I'm not really that.
You have a pretty impressive show reel, though, haven't you?
Very good. No, I've got we're very got some swanky stuff on
I see The Fall is following on. Season 2 of The Fall is coming on after LoveHate on Sunday night, and I read an interview with Jamie Dornan recently, and he was saying he has to go for a run after a day's filming because it's so intense. And how do you come down from Nidge and get back into being Tom? It's usually just family stuff, coming home and doing family stuff, which is really lovely, just being with Freddie, my son, and him laughing, and just watching boring things with my wife on TV, or brilliant things, and just kind of having a bit of food. My wife is brilliant at kind of de-stressing me, so she's... And Freddie
was in the 3rd series for a couple of scenes. He played my son.
Right, that was a tough job for him.
Exactly. But he was very sweet, and it was lovely to have him there.
And your dad has been in it as well.
My dad was very funny. My dad plays the priest in the 2nd episode when they're burying Andrew, and he was asked if he was going to be in it again. He said, well, there's a lot of funerals in this place, so who knows, but he had a great time. It was lovely to have him there too.
And you saw your dad growing up an actor, and it's not an easy profession.
It's not. It's that funny thing where you see people on TV and you assume they're doing well, or and I've been very fortunate in my career so far, but it is a tough. I mean, there are tough professions all over, but the insecurity of the acting profession is very, very acute and intense. And when you have kids and you've got your mortgage to pay and a job finishes, it can be quite scary. It takes a lot of bottle, I think, to be an actor.
Now, the rumours about season 6. What do you think?
Well, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
I know Stuart is talking about it, and we're discussing it. So
you were just saying during the break there that your knees are shot and all that sort of thing. So if you need a body double, a runner, because my knees are still intact. Just you could just pass that on to Stuart.
Yes,
that's the.
It's not a bad likeness.
Not a bad likeness at all. Like
both handsome,
at a distance, at a distance, running away from the scene of a crime. Nobody'd spot it.
That's true.
Nobody'd spot it. So just
I will. You can sign that for me. I'll give it to Stuart.
Right. Tom, good luck with everything.
Thanks so much.
Howie the Rookie is in the Olympia Theatre from the 11th to the 14th of November. I'll have to go get along to see that. And just a quick couple of comments from our listeners before we go. I can't believe the difference with Tom and Nidge. Shows what a great actor he is. Fran is going to die. Siobhan going to get with big balls and live in Spain, and Nidge and big balls going head to head. There you go. And I saw Tom in the Abbey recently in A Few and Evil Days. It was absolutely packed and sold out every night. I think he's brilliant and a brilliant asset for theatre in Ireland, and he draws in people who wouldn't normally go to the theatre, says Monica. And I saw Tom on Baggot Street yesterday, was so tempted to ask him for a selfie, but reckoned his head must be wrecked from fans, so left him alone, regretting it since. So there's, you can thank that person there for leaving you alone. Okay, that's